or maybe the expenses. So which side would be like credit?
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. We'll talk about that. Okay. We try not to use the terminology debit and credit yet, not yet. Try to avoid that because that is very confusion, especially for the accounting terminology. I think the most confusing terminology is debit credit because debit credit is not same meaning as we say during the daily life. So we try not use debit credit. Okay. So to answer your questions, if your company 100% follow a GAAP rule, and your company use cash to pump out $100 gas, then you have cash reduced by $100. Understand? And then you have a supply gas oil increased by $100. So even under the assets, one item decrease, one item increase. So it balance. It balance. Understand? Yeah. Yeah. Let me go back to your questions.
I was just gonna say for the gas example, for a public company, would they probably just report it under current liabilities like short-term debt or something like that?
Oh yeah, if the company does not pay cash, yes, of course. Yes. Very short-term liability. Yes. I just say give you one example what kind of liability could be, right? Like this. Account payable, okay, or any other liability payable. Alright. Mortgage here. See here? This is a mortgage payable. Your company borrowed the money from somebody else, from bank. Other current liability usually mean your company obligated to pay within 30 days. Current usually means 30 days. Loan from shareholder, another very strange item. Shareholder loan money to the company. Because once in a while people ask me, say, Samuel, I'm the shareholder of this company. I'm the shareholder. And right now the company is in need of money. The company is in need of cash. And as a shareholder, can I loan the money to my company? And then by the time due, they pay back to me? I say, yes, of course. Of course. All right? So if even you are the shareholder of the company, you want to put the money into the company, you have two options. One way is to get a loan, get the money back. The other way is as increase your capital. You increase your capital. But the trouble is if you give the money to the company, however, this is increase of capital, then company has no obligation to pay you back. Understand? This is a trick. So it really depends on your intention whether or not you want to get the money back shortly. If you don't care, say I just want to increase my capital, then it's okay. So another hint here for you. If you want the shareholder of the company and you put the money into the company, you need to be careful. You can negotiate with the company. As a shareholder, you negotiate with a company. Whether or not this money you transfer to the company, whether or not will become the loan, the money loan to the company, or is the capital increase. By the way, anybody can tell me, how can the people negotiate with a company? How? Company is an organization. How can you negotiate with a company? How? Because I was reserved that issue to the next semester, but I pose this question to you. If you want to negotiate with the company, how can you do it?
As a shareholder, you have ownership.
You are a shareholder. You are the shareholder. How can you negotiate with the company? Who is the person you need to negotiate, by the way? Who is the person you want to talk to? Receptionist? Yeah, you find the right person to negotiate, okay? Usually it's a board member. Board member, okay? Because for each decision made by the company must be authorized, duly authorized by the board. You need to find out who is the board member, and for the major problem, they need to get approved by the board, not by the individual, not by one person. All right. We'll keep the issue later. Yes, go ahead.
Is that for non-public company, board member is kind of public information, or
Say it again. For what?
for a private company?
For profit, okay? For profit. Stock
Board
company.
members are board member list is public information, or
Yes, let me repeat his questions, okay? How can you find out the board member?
yes? That's the question.
Yeah, let's just narrow it down. If any company would like to do some business with you, for example, any company for any reason want to do business with you, how can you identify this person is the right person? Right? Not to waste your time, you want to find out the right person. Each state is different, but I think it's very common, okay? So for example, in California, not just for profit, okay, even for non-profit, for each corporation set out in California, they are required by state of the Secretary of State, Secretary of State, the company must file the information every year, must file information. And the information is open to public, open to everybody. Of course, it's not free. Sorry about that, you need to pay the certain fee to get a copy from the Secretary of State. And then when you receive the current one, then you will see the name, complete name. So for the very big company, you can imagine the board member probably is a handful. But for small company, it could be only one person, by the way. Could be just only one person, all right? In California law allows even one person to become the board of the company, and one same person become also the officer. By the way, let me ask you one question. What's the difference between the board member and the officer? So what's the relationship between CEO and the chairman? Who is bigger?
Chairman hires the CEO.
Yeah, that's the answer. Chairman is the chair of the board, by the way, and the board is the
owner of the company.
No. Board is not the owner of the company. Let me put it this way.
Chairman.
The board member could be totally from outside. Understand? So for example, if you are the board member of Apple, you can probably you don't own any single stock of Apple. As long as you are invited and you are approved by the shareholder meeting, right? Of course, usually, the board member is the majority of the shareholder, usually, right? However, it is not necessary. To become the board member, you just be invited and approved by the shareholder meeting.
So for public companies, if you ever look at the board members, a lot of them are CEOs of other companies.
Yes,
anyways.
they cross, as long as there's no conflict of interest. So for example, if you read Steve Jobs, right, biography, Oracle, right, the CEO, the owner of Oracle was one time invited, and also Google was invited as a board member of Apple, as long as your business is not directly competed, as long as you are invited. So to become the board member, not necessarily you are the shareholder. All right. So yes, maybe come back to that question. Chairman is the chair of the board, and chairman or chairwoman by himself, herself, there's no power. Okay. Chairman or chairwoman can only call off the meeting, and also only one vote, same vote, and usually chair does not vote unless there is the tie, unless for some issue is tie, and then the chair vote the last one. So chairman, chairwoman by himself, no authority, can only call the meeting, and the meeting passed the resolution, and then CEO or CFO, CEO just to execute the resolution from the board. So the question he posted, how can you find out who is the right person of the board? And you can check Secretary of State and can find out the right answer. And for the very important matter, you don't just deal with the person. You will ask. You want to get the resolution from the board in order to protect your interest. If you really want to protect something. Okay. All right. This is